All right, today was day 7 of 75 hard. I did chest day. It was a great pump. Usually I do lower weight, not low weight, but like at a good spot and do higher reps. So I do like 15 to 20. But this today, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try to go heavy. So I went heavy, uh, heavier than usual. I would go like try to go max if I had a spotter, but I don't have a spotter. I go by myself. Um, right now my current bench is a plate and a 10, I believe. Yeah, plate and a 10, which is what 150, 145 for 55 and 55, 110 plus 55, 165, right? I'm terrible in math. Uh, Not too bad, but I usually do just use a calculator. But anyways, I'm getting off topic. I did my bench. I'm at 165. It's pretty good. My max has been plate and 25 plus a 5, 30. So that's been my max, my ultimate max. I'm gonna try to hit two plates. That's gonna be the goal. Two plates for bench. Eventually, but like I said, I usually do higher reps, lower weight, but occasionally I go for max weight. Um, and that's when I try to hit those PRs. But tomorrow I'll probably be doing a back. So usually when I work out, I do one day do. I believe I already went over this, but one day I do chest. The next day I do back. The next day I do arms. Oh, arms slash traps or shoulders, and then I do legs, and then I do 2 days of cardio slash core just to kind of rest up since I'm gonna be going without stopping, right? Um, but yeah, let's get into this. So I did the 10 pages of 75 hard, not 75 hard of the 4 hour work week, sorry. But yeah, read my next 10 pages. This one kind of goes par and par. I believe that's how you say it. It goes together. So what it says is slow down and remember this. Most things make no difference. Being busy is a form of laziness, lazy thinking, and indiscriminate action. Being overwhelmed is often as unproductive as doing nothing and is far more unpleasant. Being selective, doing less, is the path of the productive. Focus on the important few and ignore the rest. Like I said, they believe these two go par and par because sometimes when you're lazy, then afterwards, you kind of hate yourself, like, oh damn, I don't know what to do. Why did I do that? I should have done this. I should have done that. But I think it happens as well when you're overwhelmed. Like maybe you have a lot of stuff to do, and you just don't do any of them. Afterwards, you feel the same way. So I that's why I feel like it goes par and par. But this is why it kind of says, focus on the important few and ignore the rest. So in this case, like kind of what he means is, let's say you have some clients that you really have to talk to, but you also have chores at home like cleaning, doing laundry, etc. He's basically saying like focus on getting those clients, talking to those clients because that's going to bring the more productivity, it's going to bring income, and then do the chores as you have time because that's kind of like stuff on the side that you don't necessarily need to do, but needs to be done. Um, I'm not sure if I explained that too well, but that's kind of what I got from that one. Another thing that stood out, or it's been standing out, so he talks a lot about the Parkinson law. Parkinson's law, which he actually has a description here. So Parkinson's law dictates that a task will swell in perceived importance and complexity in relation to the time allotted for its completion. Essentially, the time pressure forces you to focus on execution, and you have no choice but to do only the bare essentials. So having like a time crunch, having less time for something kind of uh it puts you on X Games mode, puts you in X Games mode where you just kind of, all right, this is what I need to do. What's the quickest way to do this and most effective? You kind of just automatically go into that. But also he talks about Parkinson's law. That's another thing I highlighted over here. So he always asks this like throughout the pages I've been reading, like this one right here. What 20% of sources are causing 80% of my problems and unhappiness? What 20% of sources are resulting in 80% of my desired outcome and happiness? So those two questions right away go into Parkinson's law, which Parkinson's law is the 80-20 principle where how do I explain this? Where essentially, you know what kind of how those questions go. What 20% of sources are causing the 80% of the problems? That's when you focus on the 20%, or you focus on the 20% that's gonna fix the 80% problem, or etc. Something like that. Um, Here's another question that he kind of does. So, who are the 20? This is a little bit tougher, and this kind of goes into the third thing that I highlighted. So, who are the 20% of people who produce 80% of your enjoyment and propel you forward, and which 20% cause 80% of your depression, anger, and second guessing? So, the reason I highlight this is because it kind of goes into it throughout that little part, when you have like friends that aren't there as well where you want to be. Like, how do you go to seeing if they will be with you or against you? If they're going to be the enemy or they're going to be continue being friends. So, this is the more strict way that he does it. The best way to approach a potential break is simple. Confide in them honestly but tactfully and explain your concerns. If they bite back, your conclusions have been confirmed. Drop them like any other bad habit. If they promise to change, first spend at least 2 weeks apart to develop other positive influences in your life and diminish technological dependency. The next trial period should have a set duration and consist of pass or fail criteria. I feel like this is really good. I feel like everybody goes through a stage where they have those friends that you drink with, you party with, etc. And then sooner or later you realize, hey, those are just the party friends. The people that when you go out drinking, they're there. But if it comes to something more important, I don't know, like a grand opening for your business, you know they're not going to be there. You know, stuff like that. They'll be there when it's fun, when it's drinking time, party time. But then when it's something more serious, like hey, please show up and give some support for the business or etc. Um, they probably won't be there because it's not gonna be fun, right? For them. So they're more like that, and I feel like everybody goes through that little thing, especially like when you get married and you slowly can't hang out with your boys anymore because now you have priorities, your wife and may possibly kids. And then those friends are like, oh, you don't want to hang out with us. Oh, you're always with, like, yeah, I mean, the priorities, right? The wife and the kids gonna have priorities. Of course, I'm not married, but I get it. Like, whenever my friends say, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that, but I know they're married or they have a kid, I'm like, okay, I mean, I get it. You guys have responsibilities. I mean, we could do it some other time, right? We'll schedule it. But those were the three things that kind of stood out to me on this one. I thought this was a pretty good chapter. Kind of goes through some tough questions to ask yourself, which is actually one of the things he mentioned to one. I guess he was helping like one of his buddies, and he just asked him. He mentioned to him to ask himself this question: Am I being productive or just active? So whenever they're doing something, are you being productive or just active? And I'm probably gonna start implementing that for myself as well. Every 3 4 hours, just kind of ask myself, am I being productive or just active? Am I doing the stuff that's gonna move me forward or just doing stuff to do stuff? I think that's a great question though. And he basically just tells his buddy to ask himself this question periodically throughout the day. And he said, I believe he mentions that his friend ended up doing like 70% more revenue, something like that, by doing less hours, just because he was doing that. So he was just making sure he asked himself, am I answering emails for people that are probably not going to respond back, or am I, answering the emails that are going to bring more clients in, stuff like that. But yeah, this was a good 10 pages. Unlike yesterday's, I feel like they were a little just boring, not too much nice information. But today was day 7 of 75 hard. Read the pages, drank the water, did my workout. It's been great. Remember, guys, what was I gonna say? Remember, guys, be patient. Success takes time.